afternoon to all of you. Thank you for coming to this Educational Chess Summit organized by the Judit Polgár Foundation. And of course, a very warm welcome, greetings to the big audience following us from all over the world. We are at the beautiful National Gallery in Budapest. Let me tell you something really important to start with. Just playing chess can be very educational because you develop a lot of skills, abilities, and capabilities. But it is much better if you use chess as an educational tool, especially if this is done by professional school teachers. And that's why we are here, and that's what we are going to talk about in the next 3.5 hours. To start with, we have the European Parliament. 415 of its members recommended chess as an educational tool to all country members. That happened in 2012, and since then, both the Parliament and the European Commission has supported chess strongly several times. That's why we have a very exciting video from Maria Gabriel, member of the European Commission.
Dear Judith, ladies and gentlemen, I cannot be there with you to enjoy the Global Chess Festival. But I did not want to miss this chance to send a word of encouragement to all of you. As Judith put it at the last European Education Summit, chess has it all: education, culture, youth, sport, and a great deal of innovation. Games are a fundamental part of what makes us human. We learn the rules, we play together, we develop playing cultures and metagames. And we break those metagames, innovating on how we play the game. To see this in action is to understand how so much of our culture ends up thriving through play. In school, in the pitch, in youth organizations, or in the artist's atelier. This should come as no surprise. The Latin ludos, after all, means not just play, but also sport, school, and practice. To fit chess into education is, in my opinion, to fit a glove in our hand. It just makes sense. Our very own school education gateway includes resources on game-based learning. I believe that playing can be hugely influential in young people's learning, especially when it has an impact on pedagogy. And during COVID-19, we saw how useful these pedagogies were, especially helping us adapt to distance learning. If you are going to look at a screen for 8 hours, and if you cannot play outside with your friends, maybe a game is just what you need to stay focused and learn, all while developing critical thinking, an entrepreneurial spirit, and the creativity you need to win. My friends, I can only encourage you to engage with the opportunities of the European education area and the Erasmus Plus program. I certainly hope that our Erasmus Plus teacher academies will engage with your Chess Palace approach. These academies will help teachers develop and engage with new pedagogies, and game-based learning has a big part to play there. I wish I could be there with you to participate in all the exciting discussions you will have. You have my full support and have a wonderful festival.
That was very inspiring indeed. And talking about inspiration, that decision from the European Parliament in 2012 inspired several countries to follow the recommendation, among them Hungary. We will talk about it later. And my country in Spain. This is what I call the miracle at the Spanish Parliament on February 11, 2015. Can you believe it? All political parties, with no exception, agreed on something. And that something was supporting chess as an educational tool. I can tell you that that afternoon I was very tempted to call the Vatican, just in case, to tell them that, you know, a miracle is happening at the Spanish Parliament. Well, anyway, now, let me tell you now, I have to introduce a very relevant person in the chess world and also in educational chess. The first time I met Dana Reizniece-Ozola was Baku 2016 Chess Olympiad, because she won her game against the female world champion Hu Yifan from China. I was very impressed, but not only by the quality of the game, but also the very interesting things she told me, and especially because at that moment she was finance minister at her country, Latvia. Well, as you can imagine, being a minister and at the same time beating the world champion is not something that it happens every year or even every decade. And by the way, she was also a member of the European Parliament as well. Now, I can say that she is my boss, because she is managing director in FIDE, among other jobs. And I can tell you, because I have been working closely to her, that she is doing a fantastic job. She is supporting educational chess from day one. Welcome, Dana Reizniece-Ozola.
Magnificent, Judit. All the ladies and gentlemen who are following this educational conference online and offline, I am truly honored to be part of this event, because I believe in chess, and even more so, I believe in chess in education and in its power. So, you know that Albert Einstein has said that true education is the thing that still remains in your head after you have forgotten everything that you have been learning in the school. So it's a great challenge, actually, to consider what are the elements needed to make the education relevant, intellectually stimulating, emotionally appealing, and also sustainable. And today I would like to raise only 3 elements that I think, when we consider the current or modern education, have to be kept into the mind. The global trends that have the impact on its quality and on its form, and we have to consider also when we think of how chess can benefit and can be used in it. So first, it is the inequality and poverty. You know that especially due to the pandemic, 70% of the global world does face the increasing inequality. It's 230 million people, even more so, the kids who go to the school but never acquire the basic reading and counting skills. It is 63 countries where female young ladies, because of their low-level income, they never get their full access to the education, which means that all those people, all those kids, all these youths, they never get the basic skills so that to be able, or basic tools, so that to be able to climb the social ladder in their life. So in this situation, this context, such organizations, international organizations like FIDE, that has a brilliant instrument in their hands, have to find the ways how to reach out to these less fortunate ones, how to empower them, how to give the chance to educate. And chess is an excellent tool for that. And that is why I'm so happy that FIDE as well. We're trying to put our little slice in this story with such projects like Chess for Refugees, educating the young ladies in Kakuma camp, giving them not only the chess skills, but also life-building skills, giving the very important sense of belonging to the vast chess community. We are the human beings. We like to have this feeling of belonging to somebody. It gives you the clear stance. It gives you the bravery to achieve the goals others are only thinking of. The second one, it is the migration trends and the necessity to integrate people coming from, and kids especially coming from different cultural backgrounds, from different social backgrounds. And it is a great task of the educational systems actually to deal with that. There are amazing experiences in such countries like Sweden. I'm sure that Jesper will tell you more of his experience. Many other countries. I recently visited Spain, the Blames school next to Barcelona. When I entered the school, and whatever door I was opening, they really used chess for teaching language, mathematics, sports, and they didn't know that my visit is planned prior to that. So the principal of the school told me that by using chess, they've got not only a very entertaining tool to educate the kids with, but chess as a game gives very important social skills to the kids, like interacting with another human being, like acceptance and respect to the opponent, like patience. You really have to wait for your opponent to make a move before you make yours. Like fair play, something that we should actually keep stronger in our sport development and sportive chess, the sportive world of chess as well. So this is only one example of many that we can see that using chess and the game element of it can create a strong case for integration and better societies. The third element, it is the technological development. We live in the fourth industrial revolution time. It does have a great power to increase the productivity, to ensure the growth, but it also has the notable side effect, potentially defect. A lot of people will be kicked out of their jobs. There are estimates that 50% of those professions that we are now paid for, they can be automated. More than 300 million jobs have been put out of place due to COVID, and it's expected that approximately 40% would never come back. So the question to the educational institutions is, what profession, and to the parents, I've got 4 kids and I've been considering this, what professions should I give to my kids? The answer is, I guess, not to give the profession, it is to give the skills. To give the skills, allowing them to have this flexibility of learning what they will need over their professional career. So the life learning, that is the future, of course, of all the education systems, the modular system. People will jump from profession to the profession, and chess is just perfect tool to give the future skills necessary, like the complex problem solving, like the creativity, like the focus, like many other things. And besides, also a very important one, it is the value of the time. Chess teaches you to understand the value of the time. You have to make the decisions. Every move is a decision making. You calculate, you analyze, you try to remember. Sometimes you rely on your intuition, but then you have to make the decision within a limited period of time. And this is something that has helped me in my life as well. It's the value of the time. You have to remember that you have to use your mandate and time to deliver. And this is something that I wish to all of us, to you, the opinion leaders, to me, myself, in my position, use this time for promotion of chess in education, so that the society becomes better. One of the smart moves that FIDE on our side has done, I think it is that we recently have endorsed a very special program that is, I would say, a trendsetter in educational chess, that is Judit Polgár's method. So already recognized in hundreds of the schools here in Hungary, in China. We will be willing to spread it out to the world in strong cooperation with the European Chess Union, with the local authorities and all the organizations that see the value of it. So that is my short introduction to the session, that I'm looking forward to hear the stories to be told here, so that we all become a bit more smarter, a bit more experienced in how to use educational chess for the benefit of society. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, FIDE's managing director. Actually, as she said, FIDE is, in a statement published a couple of days ago, FIDE is endorsing the Judit Polgár method. We will talk about it in more detail a bit later. And FIDE is doing this in cooperation with the European Chess Union and the Ministry of Human Capacities. Therefore, it is a real pleasure for me to give the floor to the Deputy State Secretary of that ministry, Laszlo Kisfaludi.
Dear Madam Managing Director, dear Mr. President, dear Judit, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the invitation. First, please allow me to greet you on behalf of the Ministry of Human Capacities of Hungary. I am Laszlo Kisfaludi, Deputy Secretary of State for Public Education. First of all, I would like to say thank you to Judit and to the organizers for this amazing event. We are here together to show our commitment towards using the chess and the Judit Polgár method in the public education. As you know, as you have heard, this method can help to improve children's mathematical skills, creativity, logical, analytical thinking and skills in the kindergartens and in the schools. I think that in Hungary, this method it's a part of the national core curriculum, and schools have the opportunity to implement this method in their local curriculum as a non-compulsory subject. I am sure that our joint statement will help to spread this innovative approach in the world's educational systems. And as a result of this amazing initiative, the children's learning outcomes, the children's competencies will improve. And this fantastic sport, the chess, will have even more fans, supporters and players in the future. Finally, I would like to wish you exciting programs, uplifting moments at today's conference, and thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, Deputy Secretary of State. Let me tell you that Hungary has been selected by FIDE as one of the models of good practice for the rest of the world about the educational chess system here. I think this is relevant. And I also think that this statement needs a good photo, but before the photo, I would like to give the floor to the President of the European Chess Union, Zurab Azmaypalashvili.
Thank you. Dear Judit, dear ladies and gentlemen, I would like just to go to the history. When first time I visited ordinary school in Budapest, when Judit took me to show the Palace program. I think it was something like 6-7 years ago. And when we visited the school and the chess lesson, I was really impressed. How it's possible? Then I thought about myself. There was a program by Judit, Palace program. And I saw the kids on the floor with teacher together. It's impressed my memory. All my life I will remember this small time which I spent there, because I feel the teacher is not only teacher is a mother also, and sister, and friend. And using the chess tool, chess as an instrument to have a communication with little kids, it's really impressed me. And I said to myself, yes, Judith, it's the greatest name in the chess history, female name. Of course, she wrote not only golden page of the chess history, but she did something which for me right now is unbelievable to repeat, but will be the time, will be repeated, and will be even more, because this is a main target. But when Judith was #1 in the world, she decided to quit chess and to transfer herself, actually sacrifice herself for chess, not as a game, but as an instrument for education, for better future, for kids. And this is something which we have to appreciate a lot. And not only this, if let's say, thinking like this, that if all world champions and #1, they will follow Judith, I think we will be much more successful. I'm calling all of them great names just to follow what Judith is doing, and then we will become more successful. I appreciate very much what you have done. I appreciate FIDE, which is now helping and actually working together. And from my side, as a friend and as an issue president, I'm really happy to be part of your program, really happy. Thank you very much, and you touch me. Thank you.
Mr. President, hold on, don't go away. Please, Deputy Secretary of State, if you can come back to the stage. Managing Director Dana Reizniece, and of course, the biggest motor of this event, Judit Polgár. Now I leave the photographers, my colleagues, to take the control. Judith, don't go away. Well, introducing Judit Polgár in Budapest is like introducing Magnus Carlsen in Oslo or Messi in Argentina, because I know this is scientifically proved. More than 90% of the Hungarian citizens know who is Judit Polgár. Therefore, instead of a formal introduction, and especially thinking in our broader audience from all over the world, let me tell you a few memories. I think they are significant. The first time I met her was in Thessaloniki, Greece, 1988, when Hungary won the gold medal over the superpower Soviet Union. That was fantastic news, and the team was with Judith, her sisters, Sophie and Susan, and Ildiko Madel, if I remember well, right? Well, that was unbelievable. Judith was 12 at that time, and by then she was already terrifying her male opponents. But then about 8 years later, when she became the only woman in history among the top 10, then the other members of the elite accepted that she was just one of them. But I have to add that she was also a role model of how a professional chess player should behave inside and outside the playing hall. And then, when she retired in 2014, she decided to invest a lot of energy and time and intelligence in educational chess. So she is the biggest, the greatest queen in the history of chess so far.
Thank you.
Then, accordingly, my first question for you, Judith, should be a big why. Why are you investing so much energy, time, and etc. on precisely in educational chess?
Well, I think it's because I started to have a family. I had 2 kids. They reached the kindergarten age. And the international kindergarten they were going, I was convincing them to make a program of chess. Actually, we did it with my sister, a booklet. And that's how I wanted them to know about chess also. And of course, that's how it comes when you see something works well. And then we started to develop with the team of mine, with my foundation, how to go into the classrooms, how we can implement a program that can really have effect on kids, that they can transform through chess the knowledge they get into everyday skills. And the more we were working together with the teacher and we developed all kind of the extra tools and extra positions, extra development, the more we understood that this can be magical. And little by little, we were just developing more and more, and then we developed the first program for elementary school.
And do you think that chess fits particularly well into the 21st century?
Absolutely. I think, first of all, if it lived 1,500 years, I still believe that it has another few hundred. But definitely in our time, because it is so rich and it can be so difficult that this is the reason that you can split it up, you slice it, you take it apart, every element of it. And this is why it's so rich for the modern education, because game and gamification is an elementary tool for education right now. You have to keep the kids busy. How you can keep the kids busy? By playing. But just by playing, you can't develop every kind of different skills. So you have to add different things, and in the chessboard and the pieces and different other elements, teachers can make magic.
As I said, Hungary has been selected by FIDE as one of the models of good practice for the rest of the world. How is the feedback you are getting from parents, school teachers, authorities, and so on about your work in the last years?
Well, I have to tell you that in the very beginning, I started from minus. Because whenever I showed up in a conference explaining what we're doing to teachers, they saw me, Judit Polgár, the chess champion. And I told them, no, I don't want you to teach chess. I want you to use chess and implement the rules of chess into the classroom. So this was something important. And then little by little, it was convincing. They tried it out. It was going from mouse to mouse. And they experienced it, that simply the kids loved it. So finally, they really had a magical tool in their hand that they were keeping the kids busy. And this is one of the biggest problems. Also, the other problem in a classroom, that between the best potential, the best capacity kids and the worst potentials a kid has, the gap was shrinking, because our program, for example, and I believe many other programs also, it's motivating the kids. And this is the most important. How can you keep the kids' mind curious? And if you can keep them curious, that's the best tool to make them improve and learn and basically fly, because they just want to get so many information. And the curiosity makes magic.
And finally, because I know you are today extremely busy, before you leave, I think it will be very convenient, as we are going to watch a video on your method and your work. Can you summarize the most important ideas and points behind it?
Well, the video you're going to be seeing, actually the method, Judit Polgár method, has 3 legs. One is the chess playground, which is for preschoolers. Then Chess Palace for elementary school students, and now we have a new one, the Chess PE for physical education. Now the video what you're going to be seeing is done in a classroom of the Chess Palace, so you can see how playful the kids are and how much do we connect chess integrating into different subjects. And whatever subject they are picking, there is a connection, so they don't have to restart with all the subject. But also I'm very proud of that the teachers are becoming more creative and the kids are becoming, they like to go to school better. So, and even the parents are happy for that. So what do you want to ask more?
We will talk again a little bit at the end of this event. Now let's watch the video. Thank you very much.
Thank you
Judit
very
Polgár.
much.
In the classroom or at recess, the answer is Chess Palace. Creative thinking with pawns, knights and queens, a learning experience not dependent on screens. The magic for play is given here with no fuss. Playful, effective learning. Come stay with us. Help each other, think together and build a team. Integrated into other subjects, the children beam. The giant chessboard gives a word finder thrill. Can be used in English or math class, if you will. Learning is fun for the child with tons of playing. The teacher enjoys the new way of educating. The workbook tasks stimulate the brain. The children keep playing again and again. Letters and numbers are collected with ambition. Skill development tasks motivate the solution. Activity cards are used to form numbers or a sentence, discussing and solving puzzles, creating a chess dance. In the Chess Palace, eyes are wide open looking for directions. Creative drawing, navigating and memory games with locations. Chess money, shopping, planning and management, increasing everyday life knowledge by engagement. The laminated Chess Palace is easy to clean, reuse in many subjects in the classroom scene. Find solutions with simple rhymes and drawing, complex skills development by joyful exploring. By observing details, the visual perceptual skills expands, tactile skills increase by drawing on the back by hands. Chess is one of the oldest games in history. The Chess Palace is home for brain teasers and mystery.
I am always touched when I watch these kind of videos because they show how powerful educational chess can be in order to improve the education in general. And you know, one of the persons you must talk to about it if you want to learn is our next guest. And well, he has been awarded just 1 hour ago by the Judit Polgár Foundation as a chess ambassador. But besides that, he's the National Chess Federation consultant for chess in schools in the USA and also a member of FIDE's strategy group where I had the big pleasure of working with him together for the last couple of years. So welcome again to the stage, Jerry Nash.
Thank you, Leontxo, and thank you, Judit, for allowing me to be a part of this event. It's incredibly impressive, my first visit to Budapest and to Hungary, and it's wonderful to see all the activities and to realize all the logistics that go on as a part of this. Today I'm going to be talking about how an ancient game is changing the modern classroom. Before I do that, though, I'd like to share just a little bit of background. I am the National Chess Education Consultant for Chess in Schools. So I've been in the field of chess and education for over 20 years. So currently, I serve with Chess in Schools, which is a nonprofit organization, and we focus on training teachers to use chess as an educational tool, whether in the classroom or an after-school setting. So we provide training, we help them to identify the right resources for their program, and then we provide ongoing support after the training. One of the consistent topics of conversation among educators, and this has been true for many years, are the two classroom challenges faced by almost every classroom, and that is student engagement and critical thinking. That is, how do we engage students so that they're interested, so that they're prepared to learn? And then how do we help those students develop the critical thinking skills that will help them to be successful in the classroom and beyond? It just happens that we believe that chess addresses both of those issues. And of course, there are many other skills that will be addressed in the course of this conference, but I want to focus on two benefits of chess: critical thinking and 21st century skills. The list that you see is just a microcosm of the critical thinking skills that are inherent in the game of chess. Higher order thinking, pattern recognition, decision making, all of these things are there. But many teachers are not familiar with this. In fact, I was doing a training in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, a number of years ago, and on the first day I asked the question, when I say the word chess, what comes to mind? And one brave teacher in the back stood up and said, boring. What could you possibly be thinking about? Two people sitting, staring at a chess set for hours. What could you possibly be thinking about? So that was on the first day of training. On the third day of training, we actually had them playing a short game of chess with chess clocks. You know, they had like 15 minutes on each side just to give them a flavor for what that was about. At the end of the activity, I always ask them, so what's your reaction? This same teacher said, that's not enough time. There's too much to think about. So it went from boring, to there's too much to think about. But when teachers experience chess, and again, you have to understand, many teachers in the United States are not familiar with the game. If it's baseball or American football, yes, but not chess. But when they experience it, they see what's happening with, or what could potentially happen with their students. But there's another aspect of this, and that's the 21st century skills. Focus, time management, impulse control. Now, my wife is a classroom teacher. She's taught everything kindergarten through 8th grade. And one year she was teaching kindergarten, and Albert was one of her favorite students. Favorite, maybe a challenging word, but Albert had to stay after school a lot because he didn't get his work done during the class day, because on a really good day, Albert had about 2 minutes worth of focus. Now, I'm sure you don't have any students like that in this country, but, my wife has encountered a number of those. So Albert's after school, he's working, and it just so happened that day I was teaching chess to students in her classroom, working with the chess club. And he keeps looking back, and finally my wife says, Albert, do you want to play chess? Oh, yes. So, well, you have to get your work done. Oh, the work got done. It was the best work he'd done in a long time. So now he's in front of a chess set. 5 minutes. 10 minutes, 15 minutes. My wife goes down the hallway and calls other teachers to come to the door and look in the window, because all the teachers on that floor knew when Albert's 2 minutes of focus were up. And so they're coming to the door, and you can see the look of absolute shock on their face. That's Albert? No, that's not possible. So now Albert walks down the hall, and teachers say, Albert, I hear you play chess. You must be smart. Now, you have to understand, Albert didn't get accused of that, ever, of being smart. But now you tell a child something, and eventually they believe it. Well, maybe I am smart. But chess and the focus that it brought to that student changed his own self-perception and the perception of teachers around. So chess impacts those 21st century skills that are critical both in the classroom and beyond. Why are students engaged? Well, first of all, it's a game, and they enjoy playing games. But while they're playing those games, whether it's a full game of chess or mini games, however they're doing it, they're gaining skills. And those skills enable them then to develop a self-confidence. If I can do this, I can do the math assignment. Where before you put an assignment in front of them and they said, oh, I can't do that. Now, oh, I can do that because I'm a chess player. So they've developed a self-confidence, and that self-confidence and that engagement, that interest, then translate to a transformed behavior. Teachers often ask, when will I have time to do this? I'm expected to teach the standards. I don't have time to add chess and replace it with something. And the truth is, they don't have to replace it. What we demonstrate to them is that when you're using chess, you're actually, that investment of time is saving you time. I was in schools in Buffalo, New York, in the inner city a number of years ago. Some fourth grade math teachers had invited me to come in and explain what on earth chess had to do with math. So I go in and we do a simple exercise. We name the squares, A1, A8, H1, A8, all of these. And most of the students had not played chess before. So we do this activity and I turn to the teacher. I said, so about how long does it take you to teach basic graphing skills? And in every one of those classrooms, it was, at least 2 weeks. I said, do you realize that we've done that in less than 10 minutes? So that investment of time up front actually saves them time. So rather than spending 2 weeks introducing that skill, now you can build on that skill and continue to build. And the skills that they're gaining have applications to every subject area. What do educators say? Well, I had a math teacher, a middle school math teacher, who had attended training, went back to his classroom and was using chess. And he came back and told us, said, here's what happened. The students come in, we don't play chess. He said, no, you're doing chess math today. So he had them doing problem solving area and perimeter, various things, just with an empty chessboard. The principal walks in, the school administrator walks in and says, what is going on here? Your students have never been this engaged, this focused. What's going on? The teacher said, it's math, it's chess. And and in fact, the students at the end of the hour said, can we do this tomorrow? He said, tomorrow's Saturday. We're not even in school. That's how interested and enthused they were about it. And he came back and said, this was the best day of teaching I've ever had. What do educators say? Well, Brad Osborne, a second grade teacher, said that he's seen tremendous changes in metacognitive and critical thinking skills for all of his students. Mindy, a gifted specialist, talked about how chess reaches every learning level, from special education to gifted students. And she also hit upon something that many teachers talk about, and the fact that students are excited about playing chess. And that's part of that engagement. So the teacher will walk in the school at the start of the day, and the students are meeting them in the hallway. Are we doing chess today? Are we doing chess today? They're excited about being there. When students are excited about being in the classroom, about being in school, they're prepared to learn. And when they have those skills that they've developed from the game, they have the confidence that they can solve whatever problem is put in front of them. Do you wish your students were this focused? They could be. Do you think it would change your classroom? Well, teachers all around the world are talking about the fact that chess is not only changing their classroom, it's changing the culture of the school. The truth is, every student needs the skills that chess brings. This is how an ancient game is changing the modern classroom. If you haven't tried it yet, I would encourage you to discover the power of chess to transform your classroom. Thank you again, Judit, for the opportunity to be here. I think we may have some time for questions if Leontxo has any, or he may be backstage, I'm not sure, but he is coming this way. So again, thank you for your attention. Leontxo?
Thank you very much, Jerry. As usual, I have learned a lot from you, and I'm sure the audience as well. Now, I have a concept which I call breaking the ice. I mean, most of the school teachers all over the world have two wrong ideas about chess, previous ideas. Chess is very difficult, and chess is very boring. So breaking the ice is convincing them that this is not true.
That's right.
How do they respond to your program?
It's incredible. A lot of the trainings that I do, on the first day, I'll ask them on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being you're pretty sure you've seen a chess set, 5 being I'm a really good chess player, where would you rate yourself? This is the first day of training. I'll get 0, -1, -2. They are very intimidated by the game of chess. But once they experience the activities, once they actually encounter and they realize, oh my goodness, if I'm being challenged like this, my students will experience this, they are excited about it. In fact, I just recently did a training last week in the state of New Hampshire. We have a project with the State Department of Education to put chess in as many schools as possible. And one of the teachers attended 2 days of the training. She came out and said, this has been the best 2 days. And for teachers, and maybe it's different in this country, but a lot of teachers in the United States, the words professional development cause them to cringe. They dread it. But they really respond well to chess. They love what they're experiencing.
Mm-hmm. Now, flexible thinking. In the last 25 years period, the world has changed more or even as much as in any other 25 years period in the history of humankind. And what the experts say is that in the next 25 years, the world is going to change even more. Chess develops flexible thinking a lot. Are you also working on that field through your program?
Absolutely. One of the things that we talk about with teachers is the adaptive thinking that takes place when they're playing chess. I'll have students say, okay, Mr. Nash, here's what I'm going to do this, and if they don't notice that, then I'm going to do this, and if they don't notice that, then I'm going to do this. And so when I share with teachers, they recognize that tunnel thinking. And they discover, and we talk a lot about chess being a dialogue, not a monologue. That means if you're playing chess, you have to understand what the other person is thinking. What are their goals? What are their motivations? These are the kinds of skills in terms of building that kind of perspective of how do I approach this problem, but how are others approaching it? And is this issue really a problem? That's the kind of skill that students desperately need, and the workforce needs as well. They need those kind of problem solvers who can approach a problem from a different perspective, and chess ingrains that in students.
Jerry, what you are doing in such a very influential country as the USA and in FIDE is really very important, so please keep going, and thanks a lot. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you for the opportunity to be here.
Now, we are going to talk about a very important field in innovative education. I mean, emotional intelligence. And for that, we have one of the biggest experts in the world, because she has more than 25 years experience in the classroom as a psychologist and pedagogist, and she is the co-author of a very important scientific study about chess and emotional intelligence, and she is also leading the Canary Island program on educational chess, which has been selected as the Hungarian one by FIDE as a model of good practice. Please welcome Lorena Garcia.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It is my honor to be at the Chess Festival. I would like to thank Judith for the invitation.
Thank you. Let me explain how we are going to do this. This was going to be the first Lorena's lecture in English, but she doesn't feel confident enough to do it in English. So what we are going to do is I will read her text in English, okay?
Thank you, Leontxo.
We can start. I would like to share with you the educational experience that we have had in the Canary Islands with chess for the last 6 years. Through the images, I hope you can see the enthusiasm which we work, and above all, the enthusiasm and enjoyment that our students show. We believe that chess and emotional intelligence are closely linked. That is why our entire project is based on this fundamental union. The best way to learn and grow is by playing. Chess gives us the game. It gives us learning through play with oneself and with others. Sometimes we do this learning in a free, spontaneous way, where boys and girls play as they wish, and other times this learning takes the approach of a more guided way, where the teacher provides students with a set of tools so that little by little they build their own learning. That means chess is an excellent educational tool, and we use chess in schools to work in different academic areas and cognitive and social emotional skills. In 2012, I had the great fortune of working with a research team from the La Laguna University in Tenerife with Ramona Ciego and Moisés Betancourt. We found that chess not only improves cognitive abilities, but also social emotional abilities. We have seen improvements in the following areas: personal adjustment, satisfaction in school adaptation to a greater degree regarding study, and presented better strategies for problem solving. This type of study supports why educational chess must be in schools. I like to tell my colleagues that you can look at chess in a new way from an emotional intelligence view. Our project in the Canary Islands is called Educating Youngsters, Little People, Not Champions. The main courses of work in this project are the following. First, we take chess to schools. We take advantage of every corner, as you can see here. We make chess visible to the entire educational community. Then, we work from early childhood education to secondary education. In educational chess, movement is very important. We work a lot on body expression. We value very much the freedom to express oneself. That is why we adapt different spaces to the type of students we have and to the activity that we are carrying out. In this project, our way of teaching chess is based on emotional intelligence. We work mainly empathy, learning to win and lose, self-esteem, perseverance, flexible thinking, teamwork, individual work, self-improvement, among other things. In this kind of project, the fundamental key to our success is the role of the teacher. The teacher has to believe in him or herself and enjoy teaching. Another fundamental pillar is innovation, with the resources we use in the classroom and the designing of different activities. Technological tools are very important, but also traditional and simple material. We combine robotics and chess, thus motivating the students a lot. We work at educating youngsters. We work in different areas. teamwork and individual work play a very important role. And we teach chess through movement and music. I'll show you an example of how fun it is to learn with music and chess lyrics. These songs are by the band Tocada Movida. The singer is Alejandro Oliva. The group of students are 5 years old, and it is one of the first chess sessions. Is not a video here? No? Okay. Chess is creativity in learning for the student and for the teacher. They both create together. And as it is with chess, each one of us is different, but just as important. As a team, we function better. Chess is for everyone, no matter your ability. We can all learn and grow by playing. Now, this is my opinion. This is a very important part of the lecture. Chess teaches us to observe, think, and decide, but also to feel, reflect, and act. Then cognitive meets the emotional. We learn from surprise, from what excites us. Chess teaches us to think, to feel, and helps us to smile. The teacher just has to understand that it is educational chess and play. This video is a very nice example of it. Motivated teacher, happy students. Please play the video on.
¿Se llama el juego? Pues venga, en marcha el tren de los peones. ¡Vamos! Muy bien, chicos. Somos un equipo, es un juego, nada más. Muy bien. Muy bien. Trabajamos en equipo.
Finally, I would like to invite everyone to get excited about educational chess. Thank you.
Thank you. So, Lorena, thank you very much. If I understand well, here the key element is the school teacher.
Sí. In Spanish, creo que los maestros son el secreto, son la llave, porque ellos son los que pueden motivar al alumnado y trabajar todo lo que son habilidades cognitivas y sociopersonales.
Yeah, I'm convinced that the school teachers are the key element because they can motivate the students in both the cognitive skills and the social emotional abilities as well. And what about families? How important it is to involve them?
It is very important porque forman parte de la educación de los niños y por eso los invitamos a las escuelas. Es decir, no podemos trabajar en la escuela sin pensar en la familia.
They are really very important because we cannot think about education without involving the families as well. So then I guess that you are inviting the families to come to the school for different activities, right?
Yes. Yes.
Sometimes they are inviting mothers and fathers to come to the school and do something with the children related to educational chess. And this is important because, and also you have some songs, chess songs, and then the children are bringing the songs to the family, right? Very good. So thanks a lot, Lorena, and keep going because your work is really very important.
I'm sorry, my English not very well.
Thank you. Now, let's go to another very important field in innovative education and also in educational chess. Because, you know, when, I am thinking on mathematics, and I have a lot of experience in this. When a math school teacher sees that chess can be a very good professional tool because he or she can explain a big part of geometry, algebra, arithmetics, etc. through chess, then they are convinced they are in our side. There is no more necessity of breaking the ice as I was talking to Jerry and so on. So in that case, we also have one of the best experts in the world to talk about it, because she holds a degree in mathematics and physics, as well as a diploma of education from Bad Loran University in Budapest, and a master in computing science from Imperial College in London. She has spent 10 years as a teacher, and she is a Woman International Masters of Chess. She is the co-author and course leader of the Teaching Mathematics Through Chess course designed for school teachers and accredited by the European Chess Union. Please welcome Rita Atkins.
Thank you. Thank you, Leontxo. So I'm here to talk about chess and mathematics, how we do problem solving in chess and mathematics. There are many reasons why actually a game of chess can enhance children's mathematical skills. To begin with, board coordinates is an introduction to coordinate systems. There are many mathematical concepts inherently present in chess, such as piece value, 1 for the pawn, 3 for the knight and bishop, 5 for the rook, 9 for the queen. Queening square, the top right diagram. If the black king is inside the queening square, then the king will always catch up with the pawn. Key squares, bottom right diagram. If a white king occupies one of the green fields, one of the key squares, then he can safely guard the pawn to promotion. The binary of nature of the knight is also a mathematical concept in chess. From a dark square, it always takes an even number of moves for a knight to move to another dark square. You are not allowed to waste time with the knight, you cannot lose tempo, and you cannot gain tempo either. There is also mathematical thinking in chess. Logical reasoning is prevalent there. Lots of if and then type of statements. If I don't castle early, then my king might get into trouble, and so on. Metacognition, thinking about thinking. The all too familiar, what have I done? Why did I make this move? We're doing a lot of thinking about our own thinking in chess. So if in your school children play chess, they already do an awful lot of great mathematics. But we can do even more with chess. We can even do some chess and maths. But what is it that I mean by chess and maths? It's a collection of mathematical problems and games that use the chessboard and the chess pieces as their medium. So let me show you some examples. The Knight's Tour. The exercise is to cover every single square with the knight, but not visiting a square more than once. The diagram on the left represents one of the oldest Knight's Tour. This is from 840 in Persia and completed by an avid chess player called Al-Adli al-Rumi. The one on the right is the so-called diamond method. That's a more recent Knight's Tour. I use it with primary age children. You scatter 4 different colored diamonds on the board, and then you pick them off color by color to complete the Knight's Tour. By the way, there are more night stars on the chessboard than the estimated number of galaxies in the universe. So you can take your pick. The concept of independence, the famous 8-queen problem, how to place 8 queens on the board so that no 2 queens attack one another. You can do the same with bishops. At most, you can have 14 bishops on the board so that no 2 bishops attack each other. All these arrangements are around the edge of the board. The worst placed army. Chess players know how not to place their pieces. This is the worst possible arrangement. You are attacking altogether 8 squares. And suddenly, this famous position, or infamous position, can be turned into a chess match exercise for the children. The smileys represent the squares which are not under attack, and the task is to figure out which piece hides behind which flag. Of course, you can turn things around and look for the best placed army, and that is the best placed army in chess. You cannot do better than that. You only missing out on 7 squares. You're controlling all the rest with this arrangement of the 6 pieces. And here it is as a chess and maths exercise for the children. There are many strategy games you can play. That's one of my favorites, the sliding rooks. We practiced that today in the chess and maths games session. The rooks move horizontally towards each other. They are not allowed to move back. They can't capture each other. They cannot jump over each other. And the person who makes the last move wins the game. A somewhat easier game is the knight race. You're scattering candies or gemstones on the board. They all worth different number of points, or there are different number of candies inside. Players take turn to move their knights, and the task is to collect as many points as possible. Whoever collects the most number of points wins the game. Another favorite with younger children. Point value. The balance of truth is a great way to introduce point value or practice it. The task is to figure out which counter represents which pieces. Of course, the same counters represent the same pieces. And there is the solution on the right. You can also play Sudoku on the chessboard, 6x6 Sudoku, because there are 6 distinct chess pieces. So in each row and each column, you need to have the 6 distinct chess pieces, and in each 3x2 rectangle, they need to be different as well. Maze is another favorite type of chess maths question. The rook needs to get to h8, and on his way, must collect as many points as possible. If you don't allow the rook to return to the same square twice, then I think in that particular question, the maximum number of points is 10. Okay, this is all too well. There are many more questions I could show you. But let's talk a little bit about why it's actually useful. Why do we like chess and maths in the classroom? Well, first of all, children who already play chess are familiar with the chessboard, and they do not feel threatened. They welcome working in chess teams. Game-based learning is, of course, another well-known reason. It provides intrinsic motivation and engagement. Little chess knowledge is required, and that's useful for the teachers, so teachers don't feel threatened. You only really need to know the moves of the pieces and the idea of controlling a square. The aha moment, a sudden insight into a problem, is often present. And these aha moments can change the beliefs and the attitudes of children who cannot do maths, or whose parents told them that they couldn't do maths either. That's why their children can't do maths. So it's a great attitude changer, or it can be. And last, but not at all least, problem solving instead of procedural learning. But what is procedural learning? It is a set method to accomplish a task. And what's wrong with teaching mathematics with procedural learning? Well, a slight variation in the problem and the children panic. They throw their hands up. Miss, you never told us how to do this question. We don't know how to do this question because you never told us. So immediately put the blame on the teacher. In problem solving, which is what we use in chess and maths, you do not do that. You do not blame the teacher. You take charge of your own thinking. You do not ask someone else to think for you. If I am thirsty, I don't ask someone else to drink for me. So I shouldn't ask someone else to think for me either. Yeah, that's what we need to teach, really. So think problems, not solutions. Do not give recipes to students. Do not try and fix their thinking. And of course, they need a lot of guidance in how to do problem solving. But luckily, we have some problem-solving strategies in mathematics to help us with that. These are the main problem-solving strategies. First of all, understand the problem. Don't start it until you understood it. Have you solved a similar problem before? Find an easier problem to solve first. Work backwards from the solution. Use trial and error and then backtrack to the last step where you went wrong. Sometimes it's enough just to follow the rule. It helps to put information into a table in certain questions. Or work with the opposite. Assume the opposite is true, and then if you come to some contradiction, then you have proved your problem. So I would like to show you just one example for these problem-solving strategies in action. And this is a little story about the inquisitive rook. Of course, storytelling isn't really a problem-solving method, but it's a great way to engage students. So let's go. On one lazy Sunday, with no chess game in sight, the inquisitive rook became very restless and decided to go on a leisurely walk around the chessboard, starting from his home square. His goal, being very curious by nature, was to visit every square of the chessboard and thus reach its furthest corner, the remote h8 square. He did not, however, wish to see any square more than once. These are his first two attempts. The first walk, he left out 7 squares from g2 to g8. His second walk was an improvement, but he still left out a single square on g8. Somehow he couldn't go there. He wasn't called the inquisitive rook for no reason. He decided to investigate this problem on smaller boards. He was shocked to fail on a simple 2x2 square already. He couldn't do it, but gathered back up some confidence by easily completing the 3x3 board. Then again, he had no luck with the 4x4 board. He could not go to a single square there. Somehow that was left out. But the 5x5 board was a success again. It looks like boards with even sides are impossible to traverse. I think I need some help to figure out why, said the inquisitive rook thoughtfully. And here comes the help, and the help is baby rook. Let's see how she can help. Baby rook takes one small step in every move to a neighboring square. Left, right, up, or down. So just one small step. Every odd move, the first, the third, or the fifth, seventh, is to a light square. You can see it's in red, marked by a red arrow. It always leads to a white light square. Every even move of baby rook, the second, fourth, sixth, and so on, is always to a dark square marked by a blue arrow. So if the baby rook wants to get to h8, then she has to take altogether 63 steps. 63 is an odd number, so it will have to go to a light square. Unfortunately, h8 is a dark square, so it won't be possible. Hence, baby rook cannot complete the tour, and if she can't do it, then neither can the inquisitive rook. So what type of problem-solving methods did we use here? Well, we looked at a simpler problem first. We looked at smaller boards. We even used a simpler piece. We used the baby rook instead of the inquisitive rook. We used lots of trial and error. Tried the tour many times, tried to improve. And baby rook also used assuming the opposite. She was very optimistic. She thought she could do the tour. And then only after realizing that the 63rd step would take her to a light square, then she realized it's not possible. And therefore the opposite statement was true, the tour is not possible. Okay, so that's it from me. Think problems, not solutions. Thank you for listening.
Thanks a lot, Rita.
Thank you, Leontxo.
I found it extremely interesting and very important as well. Now, coming to questions, I guess that the main one that most of our listeners can be asking for is what age group chess and maths exercises are good for?
That's a very easy one to answer. It's 6 to 99 would be my approximation. On a more serious note, any age group of school-age children. Of course, not always the same exercises. There are some more suitable for older ones, more older children for more complex investigations. But there are many of these chess and maths exercises can be tailored for a younger audience by using so-called simplification techniques. You can part solve it. You can do it on a smaller board. There are many ways to make it accessible for younger children. And that is the rich variety of chess that lets us do that.
Mm-hmm. And now for your last couple of minutes, I have a proposal for you.
Okay.
I am asking you to talk to the school math teachers and to summarize why chess can be a very good professional tool for them.
Well, you are a mathematics teacher, so your primary aim is to teach mathematics, and you can do an awful lot of mathematics teaching with chess, and children will be engaged, they will love it, they want to play, so you do not have to motivate them, they will motivate themselves. So that's a big job already done for you by the game of chess. And also they will learn a lot of problem solving, and that will enhance their mathematical skills.
Mm-hmm. You don't need 2 minutes. They are fantastic. Oh. You could work very well in the radio as well.
Oh, thank you. I'll try.
Thanks a lot, Rita.
Thank you, Leontxo.
Thank you. Now I'm going to quote Dutch Grandmaster Hans Rey. He likes to say something like that. Chess is so rich and beautiful that just one life is not enough to enjoy it completely. Well, of course, Hans is right, but don't think that he's only talking about chess as a game. He will be also right if he will be talking only about that, because now I'm going to tell you something really strong. The number of different games you can play in the chessboard is bigger than the number of atoms in the whole universe. The number of atoms is 1 followed by 80 zeros, and the number of different games, chess games, is 1 followed by 123 zeros. But so far, we are talking only about chess as a game, but chess has 1,500 years of documented history and fantastic connections with many branches of science. Artificial intelligence, mathematics, of course, pedagogy, of course, psychology, neurology, etc. And well, we have, of course, as you are guessing already, a very prominent person to talk about it. Her name is Eva Giarmati. She is a senior researcher at the Institute of Cognitive Neuroscience and Psychology. Her research interest focuses on the challenges of the 21st century, and this is her video.
Hello, I am glad we can think about chess together and about research and its impact here. It's wonderful that we have an ancient game like chess, which can be one of the best educational tools we can use in the 21st century. Chess is a tool. However, learning to be a good chess player or being champion became a goal, and that way chess became something extraordinary. Now, chess can return to its old role as an important tool in developing cognitive abilities. Chess develops cognitive abilities, and chess is a great tool to support even basic neurodevelopmental processes. Plenty of scientific evidence proves the positive mental effects of chess. I think no need to prove it again. Chess strengthens the brain functions needed for civilized thinking and behavior, including language and literacy skills, which are the basis of the success in the school, and important abilities in the adult life as well. I think these possibilities would be important to use in our education, in our everydays. Chess even prevents dementia, which I think it's a great thing we can use in many areas, that game. And chess is great for children who are born into an unsteady infocommunication culture and who lack many basic abilities due to the changed environment. The environment affects the development of the brain. If a child has a genetic predisposition to a trait, a multitude of environmental triggers give it a high chance of appearing. The stimulus-rich environment has increased diversity and to which professionals have so far responded only with diagnosis. However, chess affects precisely those neural networks and those behaviors that are strongly affected. These are mainly the so-called executive functions that have come to the attention of professionals in the last decades. Executive functions are the most recently gained cognitive functions during the evolution of Homo sapiens. These functions belong to the prefrontal cortex, the dark green area on the picture, and developed only about 10,000 years ago. Learning, attention, hyperactivity, and autism spectrum disorders often co-occur because the same neural networks are involved. Delayed maturation and malfunction of executive functions play a particularly important role in the development of these problems. However, atypical nervous system development can also be the basis for talent development, and everything depends on the environment. Proper environment which supports development and the development of the brain functions can turn a typical nervous system problem into a gifted, talented development area. We can call these specialties spectrums or spectra because they appear on different levels and forms. The atypical development spectra are in connection with the brain functions that has been changed during the hunter-breeder culture transition some 10,000 years ago. These brain areas, being the latest in evolution, have not stabilized yet properly, and making them that way the most sensitive and vulnerable to environmental influences. We have published a study on this issue. Why the development of executive functions is hampered by many factors. Executive functions are extremely important for learning and civilized coexistence, also in the 21st century, perhaps more important than ever. And chess is developing the brain in these very areas. Mankind has been cultivating its brain, and especially the executive functions since ancient times through movements, arts, and strategy games like chess, like Go, and other types of games. So nothing is new here. Just we should reintroduce chess as an educational tool. Comparative studies should be conducted on the use of chess in different educational situations and forms. Here you can see a picture. I try to draw on that topic, and this figure is on the 4 possible basic factors of the studies that could be visualized on a many-dimensional figure. These factors are also that can be used to characterize a chess program, for example. That way, each program could be placed in a 3D profile to compare and evaluate them. Chess Plus, part of Judit Polgár's educational program, is a method based on teaching that uses teach as a tool for the development of cognitive abilities. The program uses the rules and tools of chess to learn how to count and read and write. Here, the world of chess is part of everyday learning. It turned out that children achieve extraordinary cognitive development by learning with the chess palace, and it appears already in the early years. It is now used in many schools, and it made possible to assess its impact. We examined the cognitive profile of the children in this study. We used 60 classes from 20 schools, and the test group consisted of the classes in which education follows the chess palace method, while the control group consisted of the classes not using the chess palace method in the same school. The school used in some classes the program. Unsurprisingly, classes using chess as a learning tool performed significantly better on most cognitive variables, including more ones that play a role in the atypical neurological development. Here the chart shows visually the overall advantage of the children who learn with chess, reading, writing, counting. Soon we shall publish the results in English too. Our main question, however, was how learning with chess affects children with special educational needs. We compared 4 classes to identify the impact on chess children with special educational needs. I can't present the whole study here, but this table shows, for example, that children with special educational needs who learn with chess achieve on the same level as children who do not learn with chess, but who do not have problems. However, one difference remained, that children with special educational needs spent more time on the tasks. The results show that special educational need can be treated by using the chess as an educational tool. That's clear. And it would be important to investigate whether children would achieve the same results if they learn chess in an extracurricular way, rather than using the chess built into the curriculum. Research should be carried out in at least these dimensions, and we have many questions in that comparison. in different methods and forms using chess to help children in their development. Certainly we can draw a profile for Chess Palace and compare to other solutions. I see a very broad way ahead, and I hope we can work together to make chess a wonderful educational tool on different ways, maybe. I am happy I could present you, and I am happy to get your questions and opinions. Thank you for your attention.
Just 2 days ago, I asked Eva to summarize her lecture, and he sent me the following sentence, which I think is really very accurate. She says, so it is not a question of proving that chess is good, but how, when, and what it is good for. I think it's a very good summary. And now we are going to the USA to listen to a very special person, Fernando Moreno. He is a psychologist who was trained in Spain and has a master's degree in school counseling from the Trinity University of Washington, D.C. For more than 30 years, he has provided multicultural counseling skills to support students in their journey for academic success through the development of thinking and social emotional skills. He has lectured at international conferences, published books, and regularly writes newspaper columns and articles in professional journals. He worked for 15 years at Broad Acres School. By the way, I visited him there a few years ago, and I was amazed because that school is a very special one. I think it's the kind of a school that Mr. Trump should have visited when he was president of the USA, because more than 90% of the students there are from immigrant families with big social problems. And I saw, it's also amazing, how Fernando is helping them to solve these social and emotional problems through chess. If you have the opportunity to Google his name, Fernando Moreno, probably you will find one or two of these videos are really very, very good. So last school year, Fernando moved to Montgomery Knolls Elementary School, a pre-kindergarten to second grade, where he is the school counselor. Now, good morning, Fernando.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Oh, the technique is working very well. That's fantastic.
Perfect.
How are you?
Fine, thank you. Unfortunately, I cannot be with you and Judith on this wonderful event, but thank you for inviting me.
Thanks to you. Now, I think that in order to establish the context, the first question for you should be, how is a typical day for you in your school when you are using chess, as I said?
Okay, I'm starting always welcoming the kids in the school, but then right away around 9 o'clock, I normally have a whole class presentation where I go to a homeroom, what we call here a homeroom, and then I introduce a concept. Like, for example, the other week we were introducing a concept about a skill in life and a skill in chess. We were talking about how I can identify my personal space and how that interact with the others around me. We use the teaching of the king as that tool to help us understand and how you react with others. Then after I do this whole presentation, I go to do a couple of individual counselings, and in that individual situation, I bring the student. The student is identifying me with maybe a specific problem, in this case separation. We use the chess as a way to help him develop that strategy of thinking in a positive way in every situation. Later, I go to the recess, and in recess I use something like we have heard about the playground, a type of a big chessboard. I saw it in Lorena too, in Canarias. So I bring the whole chessboard, the big chessboard, and then I interact with several groups. And at the end, I write a lot of journals. I do an interactive journal where in that journal I ask questions to the kids. They can draw me, and always I have at the end of the book a game who I play. I make a move, they make a move, and I'm keeping teaching. More or less is how my day go.
Uh-huh. And how did you convince the school staff and the administration about using chess as a counseling tool?
Well, first, as you said it, I used to work in Barracas, in Joan Lelek at Barracas, and for 15 years. So for my new school, I want to introduce it in a very natural way. I was only talking about showing to the kids, and then obviously I present my work from the other previous school, but in this new school, nobody knew about chess. So I have to show a little bit the research and the field camp I did in my other school, and then naturally I present my chess. Remember, we were in a virtual setting last year. This year we are back in the school, so it was a little bit simple because I bring my chessboard, I create, and in 2 seconds the kids enjoy it, and then the kids and the teachers see two important things. Right now, in this is September, so fifth week, I have already 25 notes from kids. I want to keep playing chess. You introduce it quickly to the school in during the homeroom classes and then in recess. So the teachers are so impressed that these little kids, my school is kindergarten, first and second, they want to know more about the game.
Mhm. And how about the students? How was their reaction when you started to introduce chess?
I think that we have always talked about that in terms of when you really present it to the kids. And remember, many of these kids have different backgrounds. You explained it a little bit from my old school. In the place where I work, in my school, we have diverse people from many countries. I use also a tool that is, I brought different chess sets around the world, and I introduce that concept. Like I bring a chess of El Salvador, and then somebody from Kenya, and then the kids right away understand. Oh, they have their own culture, like they have in the family, and then we move away to talk, and then the kids get so excited with the big chess pieces. I saw how Lorena was explaining about the culture of the school. You have to bring that culture to the students because they will create the demand for the rest. But we, unfortunately, and that is the thing I'm more concerned, is if you don't have the structure at the school level and above the school level, like you are trying to promote through feed and through, it's very difficult because you can change right away from one school to another, and then the whole program collapse.
As I can see, I think one of the most positive consequences of your fantastic work is that you are creating a chess culture in the school. I mean, chess is becoming part of the school's culture. Is that right?
Yeah, that is what I'm trying to develop is chess in education, but as a part of the student life, where every around the school, like has been described here, and Judit Polgár and many other programs, where you can have in a PE class, you have a concept of chess. For me, another important aspect is the family. Many of the families I work with, they don't know about the game. So how to implement and connect with the families by training them.
Mhm. I think we urgently need you to share a concrete example of a counseling interaction using chess with students.
Okay, obviously, if I had the tool behind me, it will be easier to explain it. But for example, I set up a position of simple rooks, and I put like 4 rooks, and then a queen in the other side trying to attack some of the rooks. And then the kids have to identify. In the beginning, they say, "Oh, I am alone, my queen. I don't have any safe space." And then I have to find, okay, concentrate. I know you have 5 rooks, and there's only like maybe 2 squares who are free, identified. At the same time, when we are working with that, I relate to them saying, "Oh, you feel so overwhelming about the situation. In this case, it was a separation. You don't see any way out. Your dad left the house. You spend time in your house with your dad, then your mom, and you miss both of them. In life, sometimes we have the reality that just chess position. Find positive things that you can find by the two situations. After they develop that, then they start thinking, oh, yes, by going to my dad, maybe it's closer to the pool, I can go to the pool with him. And you help them develop that sense of positive statements that they can do. And then we do it through, as everybody has described it, Jerry and many others, how these skills of flexible thinking. But you have to do it in a concrete way. The math teachers use manipulatives. We, in the counseling and psychological arena, we use the chess pieces and the ball.
And finally, remembering our conversations, you have a concept which I found it very interesting, the chess hero. What is the chess hero in this context?
Well, if you see the history of this concept about chess in education, is somebody who come in school, maybe is a former player, maybe it's an educator who have find something, and then it can be in a refugee camp, like Chess in Fronteras, many other places, see something and try to implement it. And then they see the results, people around them, mainly the teachers and sometimes the parents. And then the whole program and the kids who are introduced to that activity, they become more happy, they engage more in the school. Unfortunately, sometimes that chess hero have to move, and then the whole program collapse. And I think through the effort that many of you, the FIDE and many other people and many governments are doing, we need to, in some ways, institutionalize chess in education to not have only this chess hero. Still, they are wonderful because you can go to a refugee camp, you see somebody for maybe 6 months or 1 year they are there. The lives of those kids and that families are very enriched by this concept. And then they have a tool when they arrive to the country.
Well, Fernando, let me be very sincere. One of the best examples of chess hero I know is yourself. So thanks a lot, and please keep going. What you are doing is really very important, and we need more people like you. Thank you very much, Fernando. Thank you.
Thank you for inviting me. Bye.
Now, I need to call my colleague Lorena Garcia again to the stage, because we have some questions from the public, and she is the right person to answer to some of them. The first question goes like this. When we talk about the development effects of chess, how much of the development depends on the children, the parents, the teachers, and how much on the tools that the teachers are using? ¿Cuánto depende en el éxito de un programa educativo de lo que hacen los padres, los maestros, las herramientas que usan los maestros, etcétera? I think the best element, of course, is the school teacher.
Pero también es muy importante la herramienta, cómo se usa, y las familias pues, que apoyen ese aprendizaje.
But of course, the tools the teacher is using is you have to select them very well. And as we said before, involving the family is really important. The second question goes, research shows, and you are a researcher as well, by the way, that children's ability to concentrate weakens from generation to generation, is every time weaker than the previous generation. Do you think that chess can improve this ability of concentration? If so, why? Is there any research to support this, that chess is improving concentration? Si hay algún estudio científico que demuestre que el ajedrez mejora la concentración, y eso parte de la base de que está, al parecer, demostrado que la concentración es cada vez peor de generación en generación.
Bien, hay muchos estudios científicos que lo demuestran, que mirando una revisión bibliográfica lo podemos ver.
We have several scientific studies demonstrating that chess improves concentration.
Sobre todo concentración, percepción y memoria.
And also perception and memory.
Y nosotros en el estudio de la Universidad de La Laguna, cuando estábamos estudiando las variables socioemocionales, pues también se mejoró la concentración.
And in our scientific study at the La Laguna University in Tenerife, although our main goal was social emotional abilities, but the result of the study demonstrated that concentration was also improved.
Nosotros lo demostramos en escolares, en edad escolar.
The last one is, can these methods be integrated into higher education and more specifically into teachers training? Are there initiatives in this direction in Spain, Hungary or the United States? Si estos métodos pueden ser integrados en una educación superior y más específicamente en la formación de los maestros, si hay iniciativas en esa dirección.
Sí, en Canarias, por ejemplo, estamos trabajando en la educación primaria, pero también ya se está empezando en educación secundaria y los maestros se forman pues para llevar el proyecto.
There is a project coming from the Canary Island government already going on for 6 years, and this is going very well. And of course, we have a lot of school teachers in the Canary Islands who have been trained already with this method. Lorena, thank you so much again for your help.
Thank you.
You were the best person to do this, no doubt about it, among the audience. The next thing we are going to see is really something very special, a dance that symbolizes the transformation that we see very often during a chess game. The music is also special, isolated pawn from the very famous singer and chess artist Hugo de Prima, who, by the way, is with us here at the first rank. Thank you very much for coming, Hugo. And the dancer is also very special, but I will tell you why later on. Now let's welcome Hannah Font.
I'm an isolated pawn. I survived some filthy battles. Now I'm far from all the rest. Ooh. I'm hiding all my fear and sorrow. Ooh. I'm hiding all my fear and sorrow. Feel like I'm already lost, and my weakness is a target. Dark night has blocked my way, and I can't go back. I give you my word, I promise I will go beyond. I will be reborn today. I will
Well, it is clear in this case that there is a lot of hard work behind this show, but not only that, it's also an inheritance of great talent, because the family name of Hannah is Font, because his father is Gustav Font, which means her mother is Judit Polgár. And as we have here the dancer and the song composer. I think a nice photo of both of you could be very accurate right now. Thank you to both of you. Now we are going to move to another very relevant person in educational chess. I know that very well because I have also been working with him for the last couple of years at FIDE's strategy group. And he has written 16 books on how to learn and teach chess, and from 2010 to 2020, he was the national trainer of the Swedish Chess Federation. This summer, he was appointed chief trainer of the Uppsala Chess Club, where he is responsible for top chess and their chess in schools project. As for 2014, Jesper Hall, this is his name, has been the chairman of the Education Commission of the European Chess Union. Currently, he is also in charge of chess talent development in Norway, a very important chess country. So please, a warm welcome to Jesper Hall.
Leontxo. Should I be here? So, hello everyone. My name is Jesper Bergmark Hall, and I am the chairman of ECU Education. And ECU Education is like the spider in the net for chess in schools in Europe. What I want to do with this presentation is to try to give you a new perspective on our game, a perspective on how chess can actually contribute to the development of our society. For me, this new perspective started 25 years ago. I was some kind of semi-professional chess player. I was the runner-up from the Swedish championship. And one day, a small kid came up to me and he asked me, what do I do to become good in chess? And I was just about to give him these common answers that you should practice, you should read books, you should have a trainer, you should play as much as you can, when I had a déjà vu, when I was a child. Because when I was 6 years old, I learned how to play, and I entered this magic world of this game. And since then, I have not left it. And I wanted to know, what does the Swedish Chess Federation do to support these kind of kids? What does the structure look like from the foundation, the chess culture, and all these steps that you take towards the elite? Because I did not really get any help when I was a child, and now I wanted to know if something had changed. I called the federation, and they said, well, we do not really have a strategy, but maybe you can make one. And from that moment, my life changed. And I got devoted to the challenge on how do you teach chess in the best way, on different levels, with different goals and in different contexts. And since then, that is what I've been working with. I started at the very top. I trained the junior national teams of Norway and Sweden. I trained the talents to become grandmasters, international masters, and so on. But after a couple of years, something was growing inside of me that, did I really contribute to our society? I had one problem with these talents that I was training, and that was that all of them had high grades in schools. And this is, of course, a paradox, because that is good. But did I really support them to get a better life? Because if they started to go to universities, made academic studies, they would have splendid jobs, and I can see a lot of them having that today. Then a thought came to mind. Was it because they played chess that they had that they were so clever, that they had so easy going in schools? Or was it because the other way around? And then this game changer came to me, this new perspective that I want to give to you. And that is, instead of looking for the talents, I wanted to look for those children struggling. Those children where logic, mathematics, and this kind of thinking is not so easy. Because if I can open up this door for this magical world that chess is, and I can give them the confidence that they are smart, they are clever, they can also think, then we have really contributed with something to our society. And since then, since 2008, this is something I have been trying to do, to give teachers a new tools so they can support these struggling kids. So we, with our game, can actually contribute to the development of our society. Now, I want to give you a little bit of an overview of what we do in ECU education. First of all, it's very important to make a definition, the difference between chess training and chess in education. And chess training is about teaching the children the skills to become good in chess. Chess in education, we don't care if the children become good in chess. What we care about is the social and intellectual development of the kids. These skills they will need in life. ECU education has got two important steps. First of all, 2012, the European Parliament made a declaration where they said that chess should be a part of the educational systems of the countries of Europe. This has really opened up the doors for us, because that means that we are regarded as an educational tool and not only a game. In 2014, there was like a growing need for a new commission that could take care of these questions on how chess can be used for educational purposes and how can we develop methods and models to make chess developing social and intellectual skills. And I became the chairman 2014. The first thing I realized was that all over Europe, they were growing this idea that chess can actually contribute, but there were no overview. So we really needed a survey on what it looks like in Europe. And this one we presented in 2016, and I will come back to that very soon. In 2021, I have been the project manager for a new project to find out a survey for the world. And some of the results from that one is that today 25 million kids has got chess in schools every week all over the world, about 5.5 million in Europe. There are 61% instructors. That means chess players, chess trainers, chess instructors coming from outside to the schools to give lessons. And about 39% regular teachers giving chess lessons inside their subjects. When it comes to what it looks like in Europe of chess in schools, you can see that there are high activities in almost all countries of Europe. And also you should know that continuously we need to update our material because it's so much happening. Of course, the pandemic has made a little bit of a pause, but we are almost already on the same level as we was before the pandemic started. So, in this European survey that we made 2016, what kind of conclusions could we draw from that one? First of all, chess in schools is a growing movement, a rapidly growing movement. And, but there is a huge diversity in how chess in schools is implemented, how they use chess in the schools, depending on, of course, the goals with the teaching, of course, the context of what it looks like when it comes to teaching style, when it comes to the culture of chess, and so on. So I call chess in schools in Europe today for a wild bunch of flowers. So many good initiatives, but growing a little bit in different directions. But there are some things that are in common for all of those working with chess in schools. First of all, we need to be regarded as a pedagogical tool, not only a game. If we can achieve that, then new doors will open and we will have a fantastic chance to let our game really influence and make our society better. There is also a need for new didactic skills with these new targets that we have, because we have hundreds of years of experiences in how we train children to become good in chess. But now we have different goals, and how do we do that in the best way? And this is what I want to find out. So, what we try to do in ECU education is to take the teaching to a new level. We want to take it to a new standard so that we can guarantee that all the countries going for chess in schools will have a high level of the education. What about the future? What do we try to do now? First of all, we need to be regarded as this educational tool. That's step number one. Beside that, we need new standards for how to teach, because also we want to have research on what we do to really prove how good the things that we do are. Then we need good methods, because otherwise the results will not be in line with what we hope. Then we need to broaden our field. We are not working with chess training. We are working with brain training. So I want to see new connections with new organizations trying to support kids. Then we need to have different methods for after schools activities. We want to have schools that want to have chess as a profile in the didactics. Also, we want to take chess to academic level. We need to be established around the universities. We need researchers to support us in all different ways. Finally, something that Leontxo and I have been speaking about a lot. We need to tell the world how good we are. I meet so many teachers, I meet so many great projects around Europe and the world now, and I can see how they affect the children and our society, and we need to tell the world that. Also, we need to tell the chess world the same. We need to get this understanding of the difference between chess training, looking for talents, and chess in schools with a completely new perspective, trying to support those children struggling with thinking, and the goal we have, open up the magical world of thinking for them. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jasper. As usual, your lecture is very high quality.
Thank you.
Now, we all know, it's very well known, better say, that you are paying special attention with children and adults as well with special needs. We also know that this branch of educational chess is working well in the whole world. So it is not just a nice sentence to say that chess is a universal language and universal educational tool.
No, this is actually true. In all the surveys that we have done so far, we can see that from a teacher's point of view, the greatest thing with chess is that everyone can participate. The most fantastic thing with chess is that it crosses all borders. Doesn't matter if you're a boy or a girl, your age, or if you have some problems with your working memory, because that's what you have when you have ADHD, autism, and this kind of mental problems. So chess can really open up the world for these kids. And also this type of kids, they normally have problem with social interaction. But we have seen that chess can actually be a perfect tool for them Strict rules, perfect distance in a way, but still a good communication. So I really believe that one important branch for chess is to go in this direction.
And now the million-dollar question, communication.
Yes.
Which I'm afraid is the biggest challenge we have in educational chess.
Yes.
We have to admit that probably more than 90% of human beings have no idea about what educational chess is. What should we do? Because this includes the chess world as well.
Yes, and you should know, Leontxo and I, we have spoken about this every week for 1 year time now, and still you are asking me this question. And yes, first of all, I believe that all the internal part needs to understand what we're talking about. The chess players, the chess ambassadors, the chess interested. If they understand the difference, they can be our ambassadors and they can spread these words. I think that's step number one. Then, of course, we need to move out of our comfort zone. We need to go to the ministers. We need to go to the politicians. We need to go to the principals, teachers, and we need to convince them and show them what we have got. But it's not an easy work. It's a hard work, but I know that both you and I are ready to do it.
Jasper, listening to you is, as usual, very instructive and a big pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now we have not only one guest, but two of them together. So, by the way, the two of them are very relevant. So I call both of them to the stage, Bachar Quadli and David Ross. Please, s'il vous plaît.
Il nous faut le point.
Bachar Quadli was the first French chess player to become a grandmaster. He holds a master's degree in political science and energy economics and is former president of the French Chess Federation. He is now FIDE deputy president and the creator of the Vote Chess program for Orsay. And David Ross is precisely the mayor of Orsay, which is like the French Silicon Valley, let's say it like this. But not only that, he is also a doctor in physics and a professor of the University of Orsay. He has been the mayor of the city since 2008 and vice president of the urban area of Paris-Saclay, in charge of research and innovation. And the point here is that chess is an educational tool in all schools in Orsay. And both of them are going to explain how is this working, because this is, of course, a very important project. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Leontxo. Thank you very much. I'd like first to present a bit David. David is, of course, chess passionate, but he is still a professor in physics in the University of Orsay. And just to give a little insight, I was a chess player a long time ago. I organized the match Kasparov-Karpov party in Lyon. And since 10 years, I am really focused on education and chess, because I believe very much that this is a very important thing. So we will talk about the development, what we did in Orsay. I think David will explain what happened. And this is an experience of 9 years. It started in end of 2012, beginning of 2013. And so we will try to show practical experience over a long period of time, and with this vote chess that David will start to explain.
Thank you, Bachar, and thank you, Judith, for your invitation. So first, let me explain you the context. So, as said Bachar, I'm the mayor of Orsay since 2008. So Orsay is a city with 70,000 people, 20 kilometers in the south of Paris. And Orsay is very well internationally known for its university, and I'm a professor in this university. Orsay is also included in the Paris-Saclay urban area, that is the Silicon Valley à la française, and it includes 27 cities and roughly more than 3,100 people. So the question is how it began the chess in Orsay. So the first thing is that I was a former chess player, and as you know, for most of you, once you touch the chess, you never stop it. So I have the opportunity to meet Bashar Quatli. I know that it was the first grandmaster in France, so we discussed about the possibility to try to introduce chess in the school. And we have also the support. It's very important in France to have the support of the National Education Inspector to be able to introduce it in the school. So since the beginning, we had the chance to have this support. Then we began in 2013 with both in the classroom, the school teacher and a chess teacher. And it's very important to success to choose a quality for the chess teacher. And as Bashar know him, we asked Marc Kenéen, that is a very famous pedagogical chess teacher in France, to include the city and to be involved in the development of chess in school. And at the beginning, so almost 10 years ago, we begin with what we call the CM2, that is the people at the primary school already at 10 years old. So that was the beginning. And then we developed it during 9 years. So I now give you the main key performance indicator, and to explain you the specificity of what we did in the vote chess operation. So concerning the development of the chess, we have in Orsay 3 schools that approximately it's 1,000 pupils. They are aged from 5 to 10, and we developed the chess in school from 2013 to 2016. And as you can see on the graph, we reached to touch all the pupils, all the classes in 2016. So that means that every year 1,000 pupils are involved in this operation. And you can see here that we have a partenariat collaboration with the National Education for learning in all classes room each year. So we have to have a special document. It's right in French, but just to explain you that we have to demonstrate it, the teacher that will be involved, the number of the hours, the goal of the teaching, and the final objective that it's just on the right bottom of this transparency is to explain what is the vote chess and the game versus mayor. And we have also some results that we are quite proud. We are primary school French champion the last 4 years. So the most important things that we develop in Orsay, it's what we call the vote chess, and in French it's partie majoritaire. That means that, as you know, in the classroom we have roughly 30 kids. And the idea is to play a game between the class and the mayor. So they play 1 move per session, and I go in the class to finish the game against the class. So the vote of the children, it's based on the selected move. They propose between 5 and 10 moves, it depends on the session. Then they decide without discussion what move they want to play, and after, with the chess teacher, they analyze and they justification. They made a justification of the selected move with the of course the chess teacher, but after the vote. And for the elder children, we also use digital support to explain them statistics and use of the different numerical digital system. So after this, we would like to talk about the feedback of the different actors. And the previous speaker said, what do the pedagogue say? and he showed very interesting sentence. Here we have decided to make some video about different people that were involved in this operation since the beginning. And we will begin by the first one. This is Mr. Guy Farid. He's the director of one of the 3 schools of Orsay. So please, let's go to the video number 1.
C'est valorisant parce qu'il y a quand même une image autour des échecs, c'est un peu intellectuel, voilà. C'est pas n'importe qui joue aux échecs. Et là, justement, les échecs, ils s'ouvrent à tout le monde. Et ça paraît très facile de jouer aux échecs. Au préalable, on avait l'impression que c'était très compliqué, c'était réservé à une élite. Eh bien, pas du tout. En fin de compte, on s'en aperçoit. Et dans les écoles, dans les classes, tous les enfants jouent sans exception aux échecs. Et dès qu'il y a un enfant qui arrive d'une autre école, il est tout de suite pris en charge. Et tout de suite, dès la première journée, il réussit à jouer. C'est assez remarquable. En une journée, ça y est, on a compris les règles. Et ce qui est intéressant aussi aux échecs, c'est qu'on peut faire jouer tout le monde, selon leur niveau. Tu gagnes ton match, tu vas rejouer contre un autre qui a gagné, hop. Et tout le monde, peu à peu, va rencontrer des gens qui sont de leur niveau. Et ça, c'est plaisant. Il n'y a pas de défaite cuisante. Non seulement on va très vite jouer avec des gens qui ont son niveau, on va pouvoir progresser très rapidement. Et pareil, si on est battu, voilà, on rebat les cartes aussitôt et on repart sur une autre partie. C'est très très intéressant et c'est relativement rare, me semble-t-il. On a un certain nombre d'élèves qui sont très compliqués à évaluer, c'est-à-dire qu'ils produisent très peu. Et on a souvent du mal à se faire, entre guillemets, une idée sur eux. Et on a du mal, des fois, à déceler là où ça ne va pas. Et justement, ces enfants, dans le cadre des échecs, on s'aperçoit qu'ils sont très performants souvent, qu'ils comprennent très bien les règles, qu'ils se mettent tout de suite en action. Et donc souvent, c'est rassurant pour l'enseignant, rassurant pour la famille et rassurant pour la relation entre l'enseignant et l'enfant. Le regard de l'enseignant sur l'enfant qui est en échec, il est quand même il est important. Et là, de voir l'enfant en réussite, ça donne un autre aspect à la relation enseignant-enfant. Et souvent, c'est un facteur très déclencheur pour la réussite de l'enfant et la réussite de la relation enseignant-enfant. Ça, c'est vraiment ce petit faisceau de lumière qu'on va mettre sur un certain nombre d'enfants grâce aux échecs et qu'on va avoir la possibilité de mettre en valeur et de mieux évaluer. On va les conduire vers la réussite souvent par ce parallélisme entre l'école traditionnelle et l'apport des échecs. Donc les échecs, évidemment, il y a un lien très proche avec les compétences qui sont travaillées, en particulier dès le plus jeune âge. C'est pour ça qu'on a élargi le projet au CP. Et moi, je suis partisan de l'élargir même aux grandes sections maternelles. Tout le travail sur la maîtrise de l'espace, autour de la géométrie, de la symétrie, du raisonnement, de la maîtrise du temps. Donc il y a beaucoup d'éléments qui sont en lien avec les compétences qu'on travaille, en mathématiques en particulier, et évidemment tout l'aspect savoir-être également. Personnellement, depuis l'ouverture du projet des échecs, j'ai jamais vu un enfant récalcitrant aux échecs. Un élève qui dit non, moi ça m'intéresse pas, je ne joue pas. Ça n'est jamais arrivé. Même un enfant qui venait d'une autre classe, d'une autre ville et qui n'avait jamais joué de sa vie, j'ai jamais vu un aspect répulsif sur les échecs, jamais. Le cérémonial, ça me rappelle un peu les sports de combat, entre guillemets. Dans l'aspect respect de l'adversaire, respect de l'arbitre, respect des règles. On a touché sa pièce, le coup est joué. À la fois les qualités pédagogiques, par le jeu, par l'expérimentation, ça c'est capital, c'est-à-dire qu'on va prendre des décisions. Alors souvent on les prend seuls, parce qu'on joue des parties, mais ce qui était intéressant aussi dans les parties de classe contre monsieur le maire, c'est qu'on prend des décisions tous ensemble. Et ensuite on va tous voter. C'est celle de la majorité qu'on va prendre. Et c'est des aspects qui sont quand même assez rarement développés à l'école. Et donc ça donne quand même un éclairage nouveau et puissant, qui aide beaucoup les élèves et qui aide aussi la communauté éducative en son ensemble.
This director didn't know the rule of chess before the beginning of the experiment. So the second video will be by a teacher of the second school that was involved also since the beginning, and especially with the primary school French champion in 2018 and 19. So please to go to the second video.
Hello, I'm a primary school teacher and I've had chess lessons in my class for 9 years now. And I always found it very, very interesting. It's a very positive thing for the children, for the teacher. I've never found one child who wouldn't like chess. What is very interesting is that they start in my class when they are 6 and they carry on every year until they leave the school which means that at the age of 10, 11, they have a rather good level and they enjoy it very much. They like the way the teacher sets the rules. You have to be quiet, you have to sit down properly, to respect your friend, who's not your friend but your opponent in a way, and you have to respect the time they take to play, to be quiet, to respect the way they concentrate. It's amazing when the teacher comes in, explains, and then when they start playing, you have these 28 children just quiet and concentrated and no noise in the class, which never happens again during the day. So that's a very good moment for as a teacher, and I just can observe them or play with some of them. Last year I started chess in December, the beginning of December. For Christmas, I think about half of the class asked a chessboard for Christmas. And I also had parents writing. We had to learn how to play because they wanted to play all the time at home. So it's really a way to make a link with parents, with grandparents, really positive for many, many reasons. That's a very good experience for teachers. When I say it's time for French or it's time for history, okay, some of them are happy, some of them are not. And when I say it's time for chess, or the schedule says chess, every child is, way, it's time for chess, and they love it. They get quiet when the teachers come in. It's magic for chess. That's really, they all love it. And even children who are in difficulty, they may find it difficult to play, but they like the relation, the way to play by pairs, to have to think, it's rational, and they feel that they improve from one lesson to the other, because as we are just starting in my class, the teacher does not give all the rules at first they start having with 2 or 3 different pieces to move, and then we add little by little. And when they finally get with the last piece and they have all the pieces on the board and they can play like adults, they are so happy. They ask when it's not time for chess, can we have 10 minutes, teacher, and we could play chess in the class, or just do a little bit of chess. And I have to put in the back of my class a chessboard, and they can write their names, and when they have time, when they finish their work, they can come and play quietly by pairs, just on their own. And well, they really love it. I couldn't say anything else.
So now we have to summarize about the experiment.
So just to say, I mean, what was said in a perfect way just before, again, for the concentration matter, for the calculation, the reasoning, for the algorithm, which is hypothesis, justification, verification, for developing the space geometry capacities, and also, as was very well said, for the social skills. In fact, by doing this experiment, we have been able to see that it works very well, and we have started again in other cities, and it works very, very well. Everywhere it happens in France. When they start it, they continue, the kids are happy, and so in fact, we can see that chess and education work very well.
So for the point of view of the mayor, as I explained you, the children are happy. The teacher are happy. When the children and the teacher are happy, the family, the parents are happy. When the parents are happy, the voters are happy. So finally, the mayor is happy. More seriously, I mean that is very exceptional return on investment for mayor, because honestly, I never think that we have so many people will join chess and will like chess like in this experiment. So for me, it's very an exceptional chess pilot education experiment. Là, I'm talking in terms of professor of the university, and is also a kind of appealing product to enhance the school education and enrich teaching methods, as it was said before. And I will finish with the last video, that is Cédric Villani, that is the deputy of our area. It's the Fields Medal in mathematics, and he talk about the connection between mathematics and chess very shortly. So please, let's do the video number 3.
Les jeux d'échecs dans ce contexte, par rapport à l'enseignement mathématique, ça peut être un produit d'appel pour essayer, pour participer à la concentration, à l'attention, pour développer pour les jeunes des stratégies de réflexion logique et raisonnée. C'est aussi intéressant le jeu d'échecs parce que vous essayez naturellement, spontanément des choses et puis on peut vous corriger.
So learn by mistake. So now we are going about main perspective. So next year it will be, we want to celebrate at Orsay the 10-year anniversary of the Voce School.
And of course, it happens now in several cities in France, because the fact of creating this vote chess is a fact of accepting the democracy, because they vote, they suggest a move. It might not be the best, but at the end, then the move that is chosen by the class is the one played with the mayor. And in fact, we created some kind of Zorro game, because the kids are playing with Zorro. The mayor who is there, who is in charge of the city, of the 17,000 inhabitants, they have the ability to play with him, to discuss with him. They are on the social networks with him. And this is something where they get very proud. And we have seen that it works. And just to say one last message, in fact, as said Jesper before, we have to involve politicians. He is doctor in physics, he's the mayor of Orsay, he's a politician, but he believes that this is a fantastic tool for education, and this is what we should try to strive for.
Thank you for your attention. So I can give some time for questions. So thank you.
I think, yeah, we made it.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much indeed. I think it's a very inspiring example for the rest of the world. By the way, Bashar, is Orsay the only city, French city, where this program is working on?
No, it is not the only city. There are several other cities that this is taking place. And in fact, when the cities are starting, the mayor are starting, they see that the involvement of the kids, of the teachers, of the parents is just incredible in the whole city. And they tell me, all of them, we have never seen that. Mm-hmm. So in fact, putting this educational tool with the kids, with the national education, but in France, what we do, we have two teachers. We have the teacher in the class, and we have a pedagogical chess teacher. So
at the same time?
At the same time, they are together. So it's a strong effort, of course. It's not that easy, but when it starts, it doesn't stop.
Very good. And Major, suppose that somebody from our listeners all over the world are thinking about trying something similar in her or his city. What are the most important advices for them?
So exactly what said Bashar before is we have, and it said before also about the talker, it's very important to involve the teacher of the classroom and the chess teacher. So they have to be connected, to agree about the way to make the things in the classroom, and it's very important. The success is due to the quality of the different educators. So it's the most important things.
Mm-hmm. Major, Deputy President, this has been really very, very inspiring. So thanks a lot, and congratulations for this very good project. Thank you very much.
Leo.
Thank you. Now, at this point of the summit, we are close to the end. A very important question arises. How should we connect educational chess with extracurricular chess or competitive chess? And, well, we also have the right person to talk about it, a very big expert with a lot of experience, because actually he has many hats. He is president of the Kasparov Chess Foundation, and he is also vice president in FIDE. By the way, when I was talking about the European Parliament decision in 2012, besides the European Chess Union, the Kasparov Chess Foundation support was also very important. So let's welcome, coming from the USA, Michael Chodorkowski. Thank you very much, Michael. As I said, I know there is a problem. I mean, very often, according to my experience, I guess your experience in that particular point could be similar. Educational chess given mainly by school teachers and extracurricular chess given mainly by chess instructors and so on, competitive chess, are not very well connected as a normal situation. What can we do to improve that?
Well, I believe it is connected because the ideal format to implement chess in education is to introduce all elements. It's chess in curriculum, chess in after school or elective, and it could be preschool, meaning chess could be, as we call in the States, and that we implemented sunrise chess, and lunchtime program chess. So therefore, if schools that we were working with and schools that implemented this format in the States, they are more successful in competitive chess as well. So therefore, I believe that this is exactly the goal that chess in European Union and education should pursue. And as an example, I can tell you that schools that have chess in the curriculum, from even in second grade or second and third grade, it's good enough because these kids learn chess as they learn how to read or how to write. They learn comprehensive language, whether it would be English, Spanish, or any other languages. And they become actually feeders to your after-school program and elective program. Afterwards, you can introduce them to competitive elements of the game and to competitive chess. So therefore, this bridge already been built by us in the United States. So therefore, here in Europe, as I always say, there are many bridges already been built over the Danube River. So you just need good educational tools to navigate them. So you need GPS to move your teachers to get through.
Yes, especially because we have to try to manage this in all countries. And actually, currently, this is not the situation. But tell me, what is the best partner to work with in order to build that bridge? Local federations or private companies working on educational chess?
Whatever works in each particular country, because there is no one recipe universally for the world. In the United States, we have collaboration of private entities, of nonprofit organizations, and eventually with state and national chess federation. But when we're talking about bringing chess from non-competitive elements in education to competitive, so as I said, it's already been implemented, and implemented by, as I mentioned, nonprofit organizations like Kasparov Chess Foundation and some others, as well as small private enterprises. When we implemented this, we introduced competitive elements within the schools. So first, we introduced these tournaments, as we call it, training tournaments within the schools, then inter-schools, then open tournaments. Only after that, they go to play at the state level and then national level, which are under auspices of the state and respectively national federation. But without collaboration of all above-mentioned organizations and coaches and educators, it won't be possible to bring thousands of kids to participate in scholastic chess tournaments like we have. Let's say Kasparov Chess Foundation created a series of regional tournaments that we conduct during normal times, not during the COVID, in New York, Chicago, Baltimore, and in California, and we call it Greater New York Scholastic Championship, Greater Chicago, Greater Mid-Atlantic, and Greater California. It brings altogether probably around 2,500 scholastic players, and it's individual and team school event that all schools that have chess in the programs eager to send their teams in different sections. So therefore, we provide this ground for kids to learn and to compete as well.
Finally, in your first answer, you mentioned lunchtime chess. That reminds me a conversation with you in 2018 in New York, when you were telling me about the chess for early birds. I found that very interesting. Can you please explain that?
Well, early birds, or we call it sunrise chess. It's a program when kids can come to school before first period starts. So let's say school doors are open, let's say from 7:30 in the morning, but first class starts 8:15. So from 7:30, kids can come and play. And usually it's less instructional, but rather play games for them under supervision of the instructor. When we're talking about the lunchtime program, it's more like for middle and high school students. When middle school club or high school club formed, and especially in upper school, these clubs are formed by students themselves. So therefore, initiative comes from them. And they take their lunch, and at some dedicated classroom or corner, they gather. And again, it could be under our supervision or under supervision of the president of this chess club that been elected in high school by their own peers.
Just one small detail. One of them, coming back to the early birds chess, I guess that one of the very good points of that is that first time in the morning, children are very fresh. So it's more effective to teach chess that time, right?
Some of them fresh, some of them still sleepy. But you definitely will wake them up. But they will be ready fully at the first period in the school for other subjects.
It's a very intelligent way of wake them up, I think, right?
Well, trust me, when they have already chess pieces in their hands, they're waking up.
As I told Jerry Nash before, and Fernando Moreno as well, having in mind how influential is the USA for the rest of the world, please keep going. You are doing a very great job. Thank you very much, Michael.
Thank you too, and my pleasure to be here. Thanks.
Thank you. And now, before the end, we have something very special again. All of you know for sure the Rubik's Cube. If we think about a list of very creative persons, probably Ernő Rubik will come in the list among them. Well, Judit Polgár interviewed him recently, and we have the video.
Thank you very much for taking your time and visit us at the Educational Chess Summit. And I know that you're very much involved also with your Rubik Cube, Ernő. And it is in the educational system in America and elsewhere also. Can you tell us a little bit about your cube? Why is it in the education? Why kids love it? And what does it really do with the kids? What is inspiring them? What do they learn from them? What skills can they improve with them? I know it should be a long answer, but somehow trying to simplify it and say a few important ideas about it.
Yeah, there are so many ways. For example, I can give you a quote that I was brought from a mathematician who is working with kids and so on, and he said, after the cube, or after the meeting with the cube, the kids have a different imagination about the word of cube. So they know much more about the geometrical form, the content, what does it mean, and so on and so on. The mathematician teachers welcomed very warmly the cube because there was a good subject to speak about, and they can use it in a very different levels, from the first grade to still the university level, to teach different subjects. In combinatorical questions, geometrical questions, and many other things. And the cube was one that was already familiar for the kids because they have at home, they tried it, or in many of them they can do it. The You Can Do initiative that is started in the state, it's the company offering cube for the schools and methods how to use it, and partly combined with the artistic elements, they can build together in a teamwork pictures using the elements of the cubes and put together some digital type of pictures with dots, you know, because they are, the cube is very good for that. Naturally, you need X amount of cubes to do that, and it's the kids are loving. It's a teamwork. Many kids are doing. They are doing parts, and there is a very strictly specified task what they need to do. That's one thing. Other thing, they learn how to do it, and what I said, it's possible to use in the classroom as well. So. The cube was an interesting effect when the whole thing is started, and the cube arrived into the families, and the kids was more capable to use it and learn it faster and better than the adults. So that was a very special event when not father who can do everything said how to do it. So they teach the parents.
What does it teach for the kids? Is it perseverance? Is it the curiosity which catches them? Is it something that they are getting engaged and focused and concentrated? Does it also improve their memory?
Yeah, the kids have a much better, because of their age, visual memory. So that's an advantage. That's one thing. Other thing is the kids can be, and especially the boys, can be very competitive, and they love to compete with each other. And if you can do it, I will do it, and I will learn it, and I will show you, I will do it better than you, and so on. That's probably the speed cubing is an interesting side effect with the cube. I was never thinking about that, but it's happened, and right now it became a very serious sport, which is an interesting one because it's very much combined intellectual and physical activities. You really need a very good hands and very good capabilities of imagination and memories to learn, and the results are really unbelievable. So that's, but the cube has so many different kind of side effects. So for example, to building small robots, that's a very interesting task because there is a mechanical part, there is a computerized part, and so on. And many kids are building many robots solving the cube, for example. And interestingly, not only the kids, but engineers were competing with each other who is capable to build the fastest cube-solving robot. Or serious robots, when they are designing robots, you know, the universal robot, they say. It's a good example when they can show how it's working on the cube. And that's a good publicity event.
So what do you think how education will be developed in the future? Of course, kids need these kind of things to think like the cube. Also, chess, for example, is included in the curriculums in the States and everywhere in the world. I have my own program running in Hungary and in China. What this generation will need, what kind of skills that they will be able to survive the challenges of the future, and also that it can give them happiness and really take the challenges the way they should, and to have their mindset. What is needed for that in the educational system? In a dream situation, let's say, what would you advise to the educational systems, to teachers, for example? What is that they really have to pay attention?
I believe playfulness is a very important element. To find activities which are enjoyable, interesting, and in the same time you can learn from it. You can discover, you can get some kind of experiment, you can get some kind of memories in your mind, and they are partly, how can I say, illustrate potentials in the future when they will grow up, and what different kind of human activities, different kind of jobs or intellectual, physical, any different kind of activities. You know, it's thinking about the future, it's a very interesting activity because, you know, in the past I was very keen on science fictions. And it's a very interesting thinking about future. And right now, it's a very interesting question, for example. The tendency is the working days, working hours, is less and less. You know, in the past, it was whole day. After that, 7 days. After that, 6 days, 5 days, 6 hours, 8 hours, 6 hours. Now starting to speak about 5 hours in a day and so on. What will people do the rest of the time? That's a very interesting question, and so on and so forth. Play chess.
Last question. What is your connection to chess? Were you playing chess with your father or with friends time to time?
In school, I have some friends, and we play chess and in the lessons under the blind, you know, because nobody.
You could play blindfold chess.
But it was a long time ago.
Wow, so you're a good player.
It was a long time ago. It was not full, you know, with all the time without ending. You know, several steps, but without ending. So we not became no one became a professional chess player. But it was personally I preferred the problems, chess problems. And I was, for a while, I was regularly solve the chess problems and sending to the newspaper. And I've seen my first time in a written form in a newspaper, in the chess newspaper.
Well, maybe it was first time you've seen your name with sending in a chess puzzle solution, but ever since millions of people heard of you, know you, and this will stay forever, the magical cube.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ernő.
Thank you. It was very nice to be here.
I recommend you to look for another interview between Judit and Ernő Rubik. You can Google this. There is another interview about creativity, which is as interesting as this one. Now, we have, before closing with Judit at the stage, we have another time for Q&A from our viewers. So as there are several questions to my colleagues, I will ask again if they are so kind to come to the stage, to Jerry Nash, to Lorena Garcia. I don't know if Jesper is around. I don't think so. But we have also some questions for him. And maybe we can start with the mayor, David Ross, because there is a specific question for him as well, if you are so kind to come up again. Please. So, for the mayor, has the ORCE project motivated the surrounding municipalities or their mayors?
Sorry, I didn't understand.
If your program has motivated to the vicinity municipalities or mayors to do something similar?
Well, as I say, I also vice president of the urban area, so we try to connect to other cities close to ORCE and to make to have an experiment with more people, more pupils, sorry, and to increase the quality of the experiment.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much, Mayor. And thanks a lot. There are no more questions for you, so very kind of you. Thank you. Now, Jerry, there is a specific question for you. You mentioned that teachers are quite skeptical when it comes to chess. What about parents? Are they more open-minded?
Not necessarily. For many parents, their question is, why is my child playing games at school? I sent them there to learn. And if they have no background in chess, then all they see is a game. But when it's explained to them, here's what your child is learning, and when they see the results. I remember we had a project at one school, and a few months later we went back and we interviewed parents and grandparents, and some of the parents and grandparents were actually crying, talking about the changes they had seen in their children. And they said, you know, some skills that I never thought my child would do. So when they actually see the results, they're on board.
Mm-hmm. Now, the question to Jesper is so interesting that I think that... Jesper is here, fantastic. But come please, and Lorena as well. And Jerry, don't go away, because, Lorena, please, come here as well, because the question is so interesting that I think we can organize a quick and a small debate.
Okay.
But of course, the first answering will be Jesper.
Yes.
If I understood correctly, within chess in schools, 61% are trainers and 39% are teachers. What do you think about this ratio? To give you an example, do you think that judo training in a school is the same if one of the sessions is given by a coach and the other by a teacher who is also a coach?
Well, of course, we have a lot of chess instructors coming from outside that are really good teachers as well. So I don't want to judge like that. But it's no doubt that the understanding of what you lack as a chess instructor, that you lack the didactic skills normally, you know, chess, but you know the subject, but probably you do not have the same skills when it comes to teaching. If you understand that, and that you are ready to develop these skills, you can be a fantastic chess teacher as well, and very well suitable for schools. But what I would like to see is more a foundation, where we have the teachers giving the basics to the kids. And then for those that want to take the next step, then we need the chess instructors as well. So for me, it's more to make use of all of those possibilities, to have teachers at the lowest level when you need the skills on how to teach, mostly, and then you take the next step, instructors come in. That will be a perfect setup from my point of view.
Mm-hmm. Lorena, in the question there is something a bit strange for me. Because, well, judo is of course a very interesting sport, and can be very educational, but I think the educational power of chess is much stronger than judo. Don't you think so?
Sí. Me preguntas por qué el ajedrez, aunque sea el judo una actividad de deporte, el ajedrez tiene más beneficios.
Claro, sí.
Yo pienso que es por la construcción que tiene el ajedrez, tanto porque trabaja variables cognitivas como variables emocionales. Y que cuando tú juegas ajedrez, juegas de forma individual y también puedes jugar de forma colectiva. Entonces creo que se produce un escenario educativo que es muy apropiado pues para trabajar todas las habilidades de los niños, que con el judo no se consigue.
Just a moment. As I said before, when you are working with chess, you are working in two branches, cognitive and social emotional, and at the same time you can work individually or collectively. So this is a very big difference already. And
¿Eso?
That's all? Okay. Jerry, what do you think about this?
There's an aspect of availability. For example, when I was called by the school system in Lake Charles, Louisiana, where I started, in an area of 100,000 people, there were 2 adults who knew how to play chess and could help the schools get started. There were no masters. We were the chess community, the 2 of us. So there are many areas where they don't have the outside ability. They don't have that chess community as an infrastructure resource. So in that case, the teachers are critical for that. When we're doing teacher training, we try to always involve the existing chess community because teachers don't want to run tournaments. That's not what their job is. They want that chess community to provide that support and the additional coaching. So there's a role for both sides.
Mm-hmm. Finally, a question to any of you. Well, if we are talking about education, it sounds quite logical to give priority to the school professional teachers. But what the chess instructors are doing in extracurricular hours is also very important. They should do their job really very well. But according to my experience, very few of them in most of the countries have a pedagogical background, a pedagogical training. Is that a real problem we should face today? Is that a priority?
When I started chess in schools in Sweden in 2009, I think we had a very good setup. What we did was that every school teacher that was starting a chess club at their schools, they also get a mentor. And that mentor was a chess player from the club in the town or something like that. And what we tried to do is that each traditional chess club, they had like 10 different schools that they were supporting. And for me, that is a very good setup. Because the teachers, they are professional when it comes to teaching. The chess players are professional when it comes to how to train chess and how to arrange tournaments and so on. So this setup is something I would like to see, to have school teachers giving the basics, the foundation, and then they get the support from outside, from instructors, to the next level. Then, of course, we can have the instructors coming in, maybe in after school and so on. So then we make the best use of all the different instructors and teachers that we have.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Jerry, how is that in the USA?
I think there's an element where there can be great cooperation. There is a danger, though, because if you're a chess coach and you make a living by chess coaching, the results are trophies. That's demonstration that and so the competitive aspect can override the educational in some cases. You know, good chess instructors avoid that danger. But if a chess instructor, many of them, they did not have a background in how to teach chess. They just started. I'm a chess player, and I'll teach you how to play. And so that it becomes
a challenge for them to overcome that competitive aspect and make sure that the students are learning these other skills. It can be done, but as Jesper said, it's better if they've got mentors to work with to help them in that process.
Thank you. And Lorena, what about Spain? Do the chess instructor get any instruction, any training on pedagogy? ¿Los monitores de ajedrez reciben algún tipo de formación en pedagogía?
Hasta ahora no, pero es verdad, hablando con lo que ellos decían, yo creo que las extraescolares y la educación en ajedrez en los colegios deben de ser complementarias y ir de la mano, porque es lo interesante, ¿no? Que cuando salgan los niños del colegio vayan a extraescolares.
So far, they are not yet trained in pedagogy, but as both of them said, it is very important to build that bridge between educational chess and extracurricular chess, so there is a plan to improve on that.
Y en España, en general, lo que yo conozco, los monitores ya de extraescolares están muy concienciados que también deben de trabajar en la parte más pedagógica y más emocional.
And the good news is that in Spain, most chess instructors are already very mentalized about how important is to know, to get some knowledge on pedagogy in order to go to the school to teach something, in this case, chess. Lorena, Jerry, Jesper, working with you is not a job, it's a pleasure. So thanks a lot to the three of you for coming here. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank you. And now, what else can we do? What will be better than ending this summit with Judit Polgár? First of all, Judit, we have a question for you from the Q&A questions from the audience. They are asking if the Judit Polgár method will have a fourth and a fifth leg and so on.
I don't know if it works.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, we just came out with the third part, and my team is very creative and very innovative, and each time we discuss things which can be during the day, but many times middle of the night. They always come up with new things, and I'm not short from new ideas myself. At the same time, I believe that whenever we come up with a new idea, a new project, there are so many different aspects how to develop it, how to realize it. And also I like to make still step by step, because it's important that what we have, that we stabilize, and we not only do it in the classroom, but we have time to promote it and let teachers and parents know about it, what we are doing. And sometimes, like in chess, you cannot make two moves at once. And this is what I believe, that now we are going to be focusing on the third leg of the method, but at the same time, we should never forget about the main things, what is happening in the classroom.
Now we have about 5 minutes to finish. So what about takeaways? What are you taking home from this summit?
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank for all of you, Leontxo, also to take this part being a host, because you're a great expert and with a lot of experience. And also you're some of the best coaches, I think, who coaches teachers. And also you understand what the education is about, because you work with professionals. But of course, I'm at least so happy for the other presenters from France, from Spain, from America, from Sweden. So all the people who presented here, I mean, this was not an idea, a fraction of idea 2 months ago. We worked together in many different ways with all of you who were here presenting. And I think it was, for me, very important that in this roughly 3.5 hours, we are able to provide information to the huge public, and anybody will be able to look back this conference. And I do hope that whoever is going to take this, they are going to be thinking about it, either from Quatley and Ross' presentation, or from Jesper, or from Jerry, or from Rita, anybody, there is something going to be that, maybe it's true. Let's look into it. Because I think it has to be, because many people, they say, no, I don't want to do it, right? So we don't have to push things so fast, but we do have to make opportunities for the people who are really good, who are really doing their job for years. They have good experiences. They can share those experiences, the feedbacks they experience with the kids, with the parents, with the teachers. And I feel that many of us who are so passionate about it, we tend to forget that we are just working. We are doing new things, like it was asked that when is the first one. And we forget that we cannot rush things. And while we are working creatively, we have to spend time to share this information to the public who wants to get it. And there are, I think, huge demand for that. How should we create good environment for our kids in the classroom? I mean, it is something essential, right? Especially with all these technological gadgets wherever, how a teacher can engage the kids. There is no way. So they are looking for opportunities, and I do believe that during this summit, people understand that there are a lot of great programs out there. There are a lot of great knowledge out there. So I think our job is to have platforms where we can share this, and it's our obligation also when we are sure of ourselves that it's so good and it works so good in the teacher's hand. I think we have to take the opportunity to share this information to the wider public.
I'm sure that among our listeners right now, there are some school teachers who are hesitating. I can see them, I can even listen to them saying, wondering, shall I try to introduce chess in my school next week? Please give them the last push.
Well, when I was starting with my method and I went into conferences with teachers, I didn't want to push them. I just wanted to tell them, be open-minded. Listen, think. If you're interested, you're ready, try it tomorrow. If you're not, explore, look other experts, what they say, try to figure out what is going on around, and then you will get there. But we shouldn't push people, but I think if they get the sense of it, that this can be something really engaging and really useful for the kids' development on different skills, right? Then they are going to be starting it. We have many teachers like that the braver ones, the more creative ones, they go tomorrow. Others, they go to the principal in the school that I want to do it. It goes slowly, but by now in Hungary, for example, yearly there are about 40,000 kids in the schools who are picking up my program, the Chess Palace. So little by little, at one point, we can grow big, but we should be very happy with small steps as well. And I always appreciate whoever, if this conference will convince 5 teachers who starts tomorrow, we made a step.
I'm sure much more than 5 will be convinced. You know, in one of your 2 interviews with Ernő Rubik, he says creativity makes humans more happy, right? Something like this?
It makes human being, I think, generally, he says.
No, it was, yeah, I remember. It was very important to make human beings, right? That. So chess has a lot of creativity and teaches you how to think. And educational chess makes you a better person. So, Judith, the last thing I have to say is keep this passion, this energy, this will you have, because we need you for many more years. Thank you very much to you and to all our viewers from all over the world.
I want to just finish with one thing, that my wish in the few years' time, that right now there are many teachers, as you said, and also many institutes, they are hesitating. Should I pick chess and include chess into the school system, into my class? They are having this hesitation. So my dream is, and later on, while having these kind of conferences and we share our views and practices, that in 5-10 years, the institute will ask, and the teachers, I have to have chess in my classroom. I just have to observe which one to pick.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Leontxo.
Thank you. All the best. Thank you. Thank you.